Hey, what's up everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we are doing the what's next on undefeated middleweight contender Austin Williams. Now before we get into that, if you could smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel, I really do appreciate any and all support that I can get as I continue to build my channel here. So Austin Williams returned a couple weeks back, got a TKO victory, stayed busy. He was supposed to fight an undefeated opponent. God, what was the guy's name? He was supposed to fight a fellow undefeated who was highly rated. Connor Coyle. He was supposed to fight him. That fight didn't end up happening. Coyle had to pull out for whatever reason. And Williams ended up having to face a replacement opponent, got a TKO win, stayed busy. And now the question is, what's next for Austin Williams following that victory? Now, you know, in terms of ranking, he's number 3 in the WBA is his highest rating. He's number 5 in the WBC. I think he's number 6 in the IBF right now. So he's knocking on the door for a potential title shot. But let's run through the top 10 and see what possibly could be next for Austin Williams. We start with Janibek Alamanhalai, the reigning and undefeated unified WBO and IBF champion. You know, Alamanhalai, or Kazakh style, or Janibek, he's really willing to fight anybody right now, but he's an ESPN guy. I believe Austin Williams, his fight was, I want to say it was on DAZN, on somebody's undercard. I think it might have been on Conor Benn's undercard. So, you know, he's a guy that's trying to get back into the mix. Janibek's trying to fight whoever wants to fight him, but nobody seems to be rushing to the front of the line. Now, if Austin Williams wanted to roll that dice, take that chance now, he might be able to get the fight if Janibek isn't ordered to make a mandatory defense. I'm leaning towards the less likely. I think Austin Williams wants to maybe get, you know, win an eliminator against a really legitimate opponent and then set up a showdown with Kazakh style before he jumps in the ring with them right now. So we'll see. Then there's Chris Eubank Jr. Chris Eubank, I don't think he'd fight Austin Williams just because it really doesn't mean much to him to take that risk right now for Eubank. That's the way Eubank thinks. Like, I think it'd be good for Eubank to fight a contender if he's not going to go after Janibek for the title next, but Eubank, I mean, really, he could probably get a unification title bout with a unified title bout with Janibek, and he doesn't really seem interested. So do you really think he's going to fight an undefeated fighter with no titles on the line that, you know, isn't like a all UK battle or a big name? I just don't see that happening, and you know, I don't think Chris Eubank's an option. Then there's Carlos Adames, the WBC interim champion. I don't see it being an option because Adames is going to have other options once he gets upgraded to champ. I really believe he's going to be upgraded to champ this year, to full champion. And him being more of a PBC guy, I think they'll probably set him up with somebody in the PBC. Then there's Liam Smith. I really could see this bout. If Liam Smith doesn't get Chris Eubank or Hamza Shiraz, if he's not in line for one of those two guys in an all-UK battle, I really believe Liam Smith might just take the chance and fight a guy like Austin Williams to climb the ladder. So we'll see. We'll see what transpires there. Then there's WBA champion Erislandy Lara. Lara is making a mandatory defense against Michael Zarafa next. Austin Williams is number 3 in the WBA, and number 2 is Elijah Garcia, who returns later this year. I don't think the WBA is gonna, I don't think Lara's gonna want to fight a guy like Williams. I think he would have to mandate that fighting. He'd probably have to go through Elijah Garcia to do it, and that just wouldn't happen next for him. Then there's Jermall Charlo, the undefeated WBC champ. I don't see Charlo wanting to fight a guy like, I don't see Charlo wanting to fight a guy like Williams. I honestly don't believe Charlo's going to return to 160. I think he's most likely going to get the Canelo fight at 168 next. Then there's former champion Vicente Gualtieri. I I think this fight's a possibility just because Gualtieri was a champ last year. I think he'd be willing to fight anybody in the top 10 to get back into the mix. You know, so I could see that being a possibility. Then there's Elijah Garcia. Now, I do believe this is a possibility because Elijah Garcia is the another undefeated guy on the rise, and he's a WBA's #2 contender, and that's where Austin Williams is his highest ranking. Elijah Garcia is fighting at the end of March, and if victorious, I could see the WBA ordering Garcia to fight Austin Williams to become the next mandatory challenger, because the #1 right now is Michael Zarafa, and he's getting the shot next, also on March 30th against Erislandy Lara. So I could definitely see Garcia and Austin Williams later this year in a mandatory bout to determine the top contender for Lara or Zarafa next. And then there's Shane Mosley Jr., the, you know, undefeated, or not undefeated, you know, veteran middleweight. I could see Austin Williams and Shane Mosley locking horns. I do think Eddie Hearn might try to have these two guys lock horns to get Austin Williams more, you know, push further. And that might be the most realistic guy. So overall in the top 10, I really think fights with Elijah Garcia in a mandatory fight, or fights with Liam Smith or Shane Mosley Jr. probably make the most sense in the top 10 right now. But it's really up in the air. I wouldn't be surprised if Williams stays busy in his next fight. But I really do want to see Williams in some kind of an eliminator next to move up the ladder. So we'll see what happens. But that's it. That's what I got. That's my what's next on undefeated middleweight contender Austin Williams. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash the like button, leave a comment, or subscribe to the channel. I appreciate any and all support. This is True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.